Hello, amazing people. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Oracles with Reverend Shola. Today, we want to answer a question sent in by one of us. And the question reads, interesting one, what will Jesus watch? And essentially, this has to do with the issues of entertainment, media, and the things with which we unwind, if you like. And so we're asking the question and attempting to answer it reasonably. What would Jesus watch? Wow, amazing. First of all, is to recognize that definitely there is a world of difference between Jesus's time and the times in which we are. So essentially, when we're asking what would Jesus watch, we're asking what is appropriate for those of us who have the Spirit of Jesus Christ in these times to watch. What is appropriate for us? What will not go against the life of the Spirit of God that we have received? Of course, it goes without saying that we are inundated 24/7 in this 21st century with a lot of material and possibilities. Some of them outrightly do not even come up for consideration. But what I can attempt to do is to give you, for instance, a template, understanding the life and the spirit of Jesus Christ. So, if Jesus would watch anything fundamentally, if at all he will watch anything, I want to say that it will be material or media, presentations that speak of righteousness, speak from righteousness, and speak towards righteousness. Definitely. Now, let me explain what I mean by righteousness. Biblical righteousness is, for instance, in Greek, dikaiosune, which means the state of a thing, the state of a person, the state of a thing that is as God says it should be. In other words, if Jesus will watch anything, and indeed if we also will watch anything, it should be things that are from the state of things as God says they should be. They should be things that are of that state. In other words, when we are watching them, what is being depicted, presented to us, is as God wants things to be. And then also things that depict to us processes and the journey of making things perhaps that are not the way they are meant to be into the way they should be. So, like I said, things of righteousness, things from righteousness, and things unto righteousness. Now, that does not mean things that are considered restricted to Christianity. No, it's not just church things and the things that we have, should I say, just isolated into a corner and say, if it's not church. No, that's not what I'm saying. You see, science is righteousness because all that science discovers is what God put there. Even music is. Human interaction. So there's a lot we can consider that Jesus will watch and that we will watch, but it's important that those three things, they must be from righteousness, of righteousness, and unto righteousness. Do your best to watch things that speak of how God wants human relationships to be. Not perversion of human relationships, but things that sponsor the righteous human relationships. Watch things, if you like, that promote God's righteous estimate of men. not the things that promote depravity and degradation of men. Because whether you realize it or not, those things speak to you in one way or the other. So for instance, you can't be watching material on infidelity. You can't. You can't. You can say, but that's what's happening in society, this and that and that. But you see, the call in your life is higher than the circumstances of society. If you're going to find thrill and excitement from media and from things you watch, you should set your mind and your attention on things that are speaking of the way God says things ought to be, not the way things have become. Because the way things have become, when that becomes your focus, it also makes an imprint on your heart and your mind. And if you're not careful, in one way or the other, you're going to erode. It's going to erode your positioning and your standing in the way God wants things to be. And to certain extents, subtly, in very clandestine manners, you may even begin to reflect those things. I'll give you a very good example. Now, this is a confession on air. I really did love action movies. I loved movies with guns. I loved war movies. I loved CIA movies. I loved all that. I loved things with military hardware and stuff like that. And I found myself after a period of time in my house at times, role playing, pretending as if, because these things they're not innocuous, they're not without impact. Your mind is like the film of a camera back in the days, not now when we use digital material. Back in those days, we used to use rolls of film, Kodak, Tudor, and the likes, and you just expose, when the shutter opens, it's exposure, and there's just that imprint. Your brain is like that. It captures those things, and it goes to speak certain things at different times, the things we watch, how that we watch things in certain presentations where somebody dies, and at the graveside somebody is saying, don't go, stay and hunt those who killed you, and so on and so forth. And we also as believers have begun to believe in those kinds of things, and those are just not the way God wants us to think or to understand things to be. So you have to be very, very careful, very careful. Another simple thing you can do is anything you want to watch or pay attention to, check with the Spirit of God that's in you. You have the Spirit of God. You have the Spirit of God. And at times, a whole movie or a whole clip may, from the beginning, suggest to you that it's going to be a very clean, godly, beautiful thing. But embedded somewhere there may be little clips, little scenes that will serve as seed to awaken in you that which should not be awakened. You may not even be aware that it's there, but you just catch it there. So you have to be sensitive. Don't make this all about you being wise enough to choose. Take time. Everything that comes your way, check with the Spirit. Is this what you will want to do? Would you be okay with me watching this, paying attention to this? And definitely, He will help us and keep us safe. But please and please never forget that the least, remember, it must be from righteousness, of righteousness, and unto righteousness. Another way of looking at it, because I remember the Bible talks about Jesus in John chapter 4. It says, my meat is to do the will of the Father. So Jesus was very strong on the will of the Father. So the things we should give our attention to, on media too, should be things that do not contravene the will of the Father. I should also ask that Paul says in Philippians chapter 4, it says, finally, my brethren, I think that's verse number 8, whatever things are true, whatever things are pure, whatever things are noble, whatever things are of good report, if there's anything noteworthy, he says these are the things you will think on. Now, the things you watch offer you thoughts. They offer you thoughts, and you have to be very careful about them. I have a brother who, in the faith, who told me that much earlier on in his life, he watched a particular series. I can't remember the name of the series. An American series that has to do with espionage and manipulations and things like that. And watching it, he was just stimulated and he honed his craft, and he found that he himself was getting very astute in the ability to manipulate people. And it was like, wow, 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 where did I get this from? And then casting his mind back, he began to see how the things he had watched over a period of time had trained his mind. Please know this: what you watch and what you listen to are trainings. They are trainings. You are being trained. You are being trained. You are being trained. And you have to be sensitive to know whether or not the training you are receiving from the things you're watching, the things you're giving attention to, the things you're listening to are training you in righteousness. Again, I said it's about the way God says things ought to be, not necessarily our church behavior and stuff like that. No, it's about how God says things ought to be. Is it improving you in your godly creativity? Is it improving in your relationships and interactions with people? Is it helping yourself to be a more honorable person? Is it helping you to be more faithful and loyal in your relationships and dealings? Is it helping you yourself to be a person of faith? Are you becoming combative and argumentative by reason of the things you are consuming? Are your standards eroding by the things which you are watching and the things you are listening to? These are strong influences. They're very strong influences. The things we see, the things we hear. You particularly have to be very careful with the things you watch. And the Bible also says, be careful. Jesus said, be careful what you listen to, and be careful what you hear. Be careful how you hear. We have to be sensitive about these things. Now, by extension, we could ask the question, for those of us who are content creators, who are creatives, what is acceptable for me to create? I think within the confines of that explanation earlier on, create beautiful things. They don't have to be church things. By church things, I mean, they don't have to be churchy things. Beautiful, amazing, inspiring things. Look at the skies, beautiful, awesome as they are. They are not church things. The skies are not church things. The ice glaciers, you talk about the ice caps, you talk about all those things, Sweden, Switzerland, and all those areas. You talk about those beautiful things. You talk about the Grand Canyon. You talk about the plains of Africa. You talk about, all these beautiful things you get. They are righteousness, but they are not church things in a sense. So you can create science, do things unto God's glory, things that help improve relationships. See how people are engineering solutions that make the world a better place. Watch, even if it's entertainment, things that you just want to unwind and relax and, not have much thought. Let it be things that stimulate inspiration, gratitude, peace, confidence, not fear, not agitations, not insecurities. But so create things along those lines. Create colorful things, create beautiful things, create symphonies, create harmonies, create syncopations, create fantastic things by the Spirit of God. Things that both the child of God and he who is not can experience and find genuine beauty and godliness in. So watch those things. If you're going to act movies, if you're going to do movies, they don't even necessarily have to be church movies, but let them be things that speak the righteousness of God. Do movies on leadership that speak the righteousness of God, as leadership should be in the eyes of God. How people in authority care for the people, struggle, labor to make things better for people. Do that. And let's see to it that everything we watch and everything we produce actually goes ahead to make significant, positive contribution. As I close this, I want to say this. I know that many times, particularly in this age in which we are now, a lot of media and content creation is driven by the need for popularity. Don't delve into creating things with compromise simply because you know that is what moves, travels, or is widely accepted. There is an audience for you. I can assure you, there is an audience for you. We are billions in the world right now. You can't tell me that of the billions of us that are in the world, there aren't a couple of tens or hundreds of thousands of people who would love and appreciate the cleanness and the righteous content you produce. Don't be driven by the need for popularity, for acceptance, for virality. Don't be driven by the needs that to produce content that you will be ashamed of sometime in the future. Remember, particularly, that the internet is not a forgetting place. It's not a forgetful place. It's there. It's there. Even if you can bring it down, so many of the things have already been captured on somebody's storage device. So don't do things that way. I remember Paul made a statement. He said, "Tell me what pride you have in the things you did, whereof you are now ashamed." You see, there are things we do when not guided by God, that in the future, when things change, when our hearts change, we look back and we are ashamed how we could have ever been a part of such things. Set the standard for yourself right now. Let it reveal the will of God. Let it be of righteousness. Let it be from righteousness. Let it be unto righteousness. Let it be a contribution for advancement in righteousness, remembering that righteousness is not just about church things. Righteousness is about the way God says things should be. So, thank you for listening in. Thank you for watching this episode of Oracles. Again, what we've been talking about is, what would Jesus watch? I know there may be questions that arise as sequely. We will look forward to hearing from you. Please get in touch with us. And please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share. And we look forward to another time together in the very near future on Oracles for Reverend Shola. The Lord is with you. Enjoy.